I'm an hero, and today what I want to share with you is the 5 secret habits of leaders that can help you grow your landscaping business. This week, we've been talking about mindset, leadership, and all the things that are kind of behind the scenes when it comes to really growing successfully. And I want to share these things that aren't necessarily noticed or paid attention to. They're not flashy, but they ultimately lead to massive success in business. So stay tuned, and I'll share them with you. I'm Gabe Arnold, and this is the Green Mountain Podcast. We are the champions who brave the elements to create beauty. We see chaos and create order. We are never afraid of hard work, and we understand the power of strategic thinking and intentional actions. We come from all walks of life, and we will never allow our past to determine our future potential. We create beauty around the homes of our customers and increase the value of our community with the work that we do every day. We understand the power of consistent branding because it helps us grow and serve all those around us. We practice effective sales so our company, employees, and community can benefit from the value we add. We intentionally invest in operational habits that help us deliver excellent results to our customers on a continual basis. We understand that powerful and beautiful things take time to grow, and with consistent watering and intention, amazing results can happen. We are committed to making the world a better place by being positive examples to all those around us. We don't allow anyone to look down on us because we know the value we bring to our community as leaders. We create positive workplaces for our employees so they feel safe and supported, and at the same time, we hold ourselves to high standards. We pursue excellence on a daily basis because we know the journey is worth the sacrifice. We are the protectors of the land. We are the guardians of beauty. We are the heroes. We are landscapers. When I was about 14 or 15, I was fortunate to have just a really amazing mentor come into my life who had a ton of success in business, had their own businesses, had worked their way up the corporate ladder in some really large companies. And they took an interest in me and said, "Hey, I want to mentor and coach you and teach you some things that I've learned." And I was super appreciative of that. And one of the first books that we read together was called The 21 Laws of Leadership. It's definitely something I encourage you to check out. It's by a guy named John Maxwell, who has just had a massive impact on leaders around the world. And in that learning that we went through over the course of a few months, and since then I'm actually still working with that mentor over 25 years later, which I'm really grateful for. And we continue to talk about leadership. But as I first went through this first kind of leadership training, I realized that there's so many things about being a leader that are hidden, that are secret, that you don't really see, but they have a massive impact on the results that we can bring to our business, that we can bring to our lives. And so I want to share with you just 5 of the things that stand out to me that are a little bit more behind the scenes, a little bit more of those secrets that happen with leaders who are truly successful. And so the first thing, the first secret habit of leaders is they have a morning routine that sets them up for success. And for me, that started out really simply by drinking a big glass of water, because I knew that if I hydrated myself, I was taking a healthy step forward in the morning. I was waking up my metabolism, my brain functions better. We dehydrate ourselves as we sleep at night, which is totally normal. And so I started with just saying, I'm going to drink a huge glass of water in the morning to start my day off healthy instead of coffee or an energy drink or other things. And that little change led to me having what is now a morning routine that takes me an hour and a half, which I'm a little bit extreme about it. There's plenty of people that have a 20 or 30 minute morning routine, and that really sets them up for success. But it really primes me to come to work in the same state, calm, clear-headed, with a plan, and it allows me to be really successful. So I would encourage you to explore having a morning routine, even if you start with 1 thing or 2 things that gives you some consistency and gives you a way to really set yourself up for success. The second thing that of the 5 secret habits of leaders is they zoom out regularly and they rely on good data for their decisions. We talked about that earlier this week, actually on Monday, where when you're stuck or when you're having trouble or when you're just not sure what to do, oftentimes it's because we're way too close to what we're trying to fix or focus on. And so if we zoom out, we can get perspective and we can get some data and we can get some input, and it allows us to detach from the situation and make more objective evaluations and more objective decisions. The third secret is that great leaders practice emotional regulation. And what I mean by that is, in business, we're going to have bad things happen. We talked about earlier this week about how having a plan for the disasters that may strike will allow you to be more successful. And part of the reason why I shared that this week is that if we have a plan, even before something's happened, a plan for the unexpected, a plan for the disasters that can happen, it allows us to show up in a much more centered state. It allows us to be calm in making decisions. No one responds well over time to being screamed at or yelled at. Nobody wants to go in and work for a boss who one day is super nice and the next day is crazy and mad, or is emotional or moody about things, right? And so our job as leaders is to have a morning routine, to zoom out, and to then be able to say, you know what, I can take a deep breath here. I can think through the situation. I can learn emotional regulation, even if it wasn't taught to me by other bosses I had or family members or whoever it is. I can learn to just modulate my emotions and show up at an even keel. Because if we think about, I always like to use the analogy of like a heartbeat. Like if things are up and down all the time, it's chaotic. Like if you draw that heartbeat line on a page, you have really high highs, everything's great and amazing. You have really low lows. And if you're bouncing between those all the time, then you're not going to be able to show up as your best self. But if you learn to live in the middle and you've learned to just regulate and stay even, when things are good, you're even, you're cool. When things are bad, you're even, you're cool. That's when you're going to really be able to show up for your team. Your employees are going to trust you more. Your business is going to grow because there's not going to be this shock wave from you being mad or angry or blowing up about something. There's not going to be this lack of productivity when you're just down and depressed and you don't care. Right? All of our emotions trickle into our team. They affect our customers. They end up, having a big impact. And so emotional regulation is one of the secrets of great leadership. The fourth thing is that great leaders consistently invest in themselves and they learn to communicate more effectively. So that's one of the things that comes out of personal development and personal investment. If we're reading great books, like I mentioned the book this week, The Dichotomy of Leadership, it will teach you to be a better leader if you read it and you apply what you learn. If you take time and you take care of your body physically and you're investing in yourself, then that's going to help you show up more consistently. You'll be healthy. You won't be sick as much. You'll be in, just great physical shape. And if you learn through that personal development of reading, of learning, of listening, and learning how to communicate more effectively, then your team is going to understand what you're saying to them, and they'll be able to execute on it more effectively. So that's a really important, skill and habit to have. The fifth secret of highly effective leaders is that they develop empathy for others. And the reason that this is so important is because if we just show up looking at a situation purely from our perspective, then we're going to communicate that way. We're going to not care about others. We're not going to really see the full picture. But when we take time to really develop empathy and say, man, what would it be like to be my customer and be in this situation? Or what would it be like to be my employee and be scared for their job because they made a mistake? Or what would it be like to be in the other person's shoes? When we truly take that mindset and approach of empathy, it allows us to make better decisions. It allows us to connect more authentically with others, and it allows us to lead at the level that we truly need to lead at. So my encouragement to you today is really look at your own leadership habits and style. And, do you have a morning routine? Are you good at zooming out and evaluating things and not being so close to it that you can't make a clear decision? Are you in the habit of practicing emotional regulation, or do you lose your temper, or do you get in a depressed state more often than you should? And then are you investing in yourself? Because that's what's really going to help you communicate more effectively. It's going to help you take great care of yourself so that you can show up as a leader. And then the fifth thing, like I said, is are you developing empathy so that you can really serve those around you? Those are the things that can help you grow as a leader. And so I appreciate you taking time to tune in today. If you need any help with your personal development around being a business leader and growing your landscaping company, if you need help with consistent branding, effective sales, or the operational habits that are truly going to carry you forward, then please reach out at landscapemarketinghero.com. I appreciate you taking time to tune in today, and I look forward to seeing you next week on the show. If you're ready to begin your journey up the Green Mountain, where we show you how to build a low-stress, high-profit, $10 million per year landscaping company, then head over to landscapemarketinghero.com to download your free growth map. One of our guides will be there to help you along the way. Again, that's landscapemarketinghero.com.